Arrived at the top end of Emerson Creek where the biggest two springs are located. Jack Imhof of our head office and Beth Anne Fischer will be directing us through the collection and sampling of this part of the stream. Particularly, we want to make sure we've got dissolved oxygen in the water, and we're hopeful of that, but we'll be taking all kinds of sampling here today, and they'll be guiding us through that process.
Setting in something called a mini piezometer.
Okay.
It's basically a pipe that'll be driven into the stream bottom, and the bottom is open. So if there's a substantial amount of groundwater coming up into the stream bed, it will push the water level in the tube higher than the surface water here. Which,
Great.
If there's water coming up, it just spreads out. But if it's in the tube, it'll be contained. So that'll give us some sense of what type of a head we have and how much upwelling is actually occurring here.
Okay,
so we'll leave it in there and we'll see if it rises.
Okay.
Submerge the bottle into the water. When it's underwater, I'm going to unscrew the cap, let it fill with water, tap it to make sure there's no air bubbles within the water sample, and then I'm going to screw the lid back on under the water surface. So I can see right now there's a bubble in my sample bottle, so I gotta get that out before yep, there
she goes.
And try not to get any substrate in there.
Go.
There's our water sample. And we're going to cap it. And we got one more step. I'll let Sarah grab it. We add the powder. The sample has been fixed, which means that even if it's exposed to the atmosphere, the amount of dissolved oxygen in the sample is not going to change. So
Little video.
Yeah.
We aren't going to start working until we're sure we've got dissolved oxygen.
Yeah, well, I want to check the DO in the stream, because
Yeah.
the first thing is, can the fish live in the stream?
Yeah.
Second, can the fish spawn near the springs? Now, as I was saying to the lads earlier, even if this is anoxic, that waterfall is adding 2 or 3 milligrams per liter.
Yes.
So, depending upon how we narrow the channel and force it to work, we may very well get enough DO to have spawning beds down through here.
Well, that's what Larry was saying, a spawning bed here and cover it with Christmas trees
That's right.
along this side to narrow it down
Yep.
on the other side too.
Yeah.
That's right. Just narrow it, get a nice tight trough, and they'll spawn in the groundwater that's flowing down here. But as long as we can get it oxygenated after it pops down there, we're all set.
So it's an easier chore for us. There's nothing we have to do.
This is zero. As soon as it starts tumbling, all that oxygen just starts getting sucked into that water. So that'll even pick up 2 or 3 milligrams per liter. Roiling like that will pick up another milligram or 2. So now we're getting into the range where the trout eggs could survive. Down through
So
here.
you're saying that's where the bed would go?
That's where the bed would go.
That's where Larry said it.
Yeah.
7.6.
Woohoo! Well, the zero over there.
0.3.
In the creek versus the spring.
That's amazing. Isn't that amazing? It's highly doable, gentlemen and ladies.
Okay, so Jack's comment is we create a little waterfall at the back of the other one over here. Because
Set, go.
are you catching that? Great.
Go there. Good. You're getting better at this. 8.04. Okay, so we'll average those out, and then all we need to know is what the volume of that bucket is. Full. You can take it home. Well, this is just too good to be true. This is still pretty good.
This is pretty good, yeah.
Because if the DO in the stream is over 7, I mean that's golden. I mean the optimum for egg incubation is between 5 to 6, with 8 being really good. But 5 to 6 is a nice range. So if it's at 7 already,
Yeah, we got
9.8.
what?
wow, in the mainstream.
Right here.
Right there.
For
For all-
DO?
Dio.
you might actually want to open up some canopy then. The reason, and you don't need to open up a lot of canopy, is if it's heavily shaded, you're not going to get primary production, or not very much primary production. Yeah, well, which means you won't get a lot of diatoms and a lot of algae on the rocks, which the bugs will feed on, which then the fish feed on the bugs, right? We found that in Cedar Creek. In Cedar sunlight, you have to have impinging on the water surface to maximize primary production for the stream. He found it was only 10 to 15%.
Oh, that's
That the temperature is what you want. The O in the stream is good. The springs are a bit low, but that's okay. We can work on with that.
Yeah.
So
something to work with.
you got lots to work with here. It's a long time to get for you guys to get the stream to where you want it to be. And I think we're at the point now where we definitely need to start to look at bringing the fish in and seeing how well they do.
Yep.
In the anticipation of going into a more major restoration or reintroduction program in the next year or so.
Yeah.
So this year will be the test with the fish, both juveniles hopefully and adults. And then if that works out reasonably well,
This is our test lab.
yeah, this is your test lab. This is our amazing amount of work.
Well, the deflectors and the Christmas trees and the cedar boughs have helped to sweep this sediment clean out of this, and we're flushing it downstream as best we can.
Volunteers have helped well too.
You darn right.